Hello friends, welcome back to Tales and Tales with Brittany. My name's Brittany and today is Wednesday, which means it is time for another Wednesday weekly reading update. This is the day of the week where I ask myself, does it count as a currently reading book if I've made no progress in a week? I am currently reading 5 books, and let's just say I don't think I've made progress in most of these this past week. The first book that I'm reading is Dracula. I am reading this via the Dracula Daily method, or at least I was. At this point, I am almost a full month behind, which is not too great when I'm only 52% of the way through this book, and the daily reading along of reading the book on the calendar journal entry dates that they occur on ends on November 7th, so I have a lot to catch up on if I want to finish in time. I don't think I'll be finishing in time. But that's okay. It's definitely been an experience, and I'm just gonna power my way through when I do have a moment to do so, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it by the end of the month. And by end of the month, hopefully I'll be able to finish it by the end of the year, because I don't want to be carrying any of these currently reading books over into 2026. I want to start 2026 with a fresh start, and I want to see if I can read no more than 3 books at a time in 2026. But we all know that I do like to give in to starting new books. If I'm not starting a new series, I'm starting a new book. And if I'm not starting a new book, I'm starting a new challenge. The second book that I'm reading is Firebrand by Kristen Britton. This is the 6th book in the Green Rider series. It is a reread for me at this point. I've kind of mentioned it many times. Overall, I am enjoying my reread so far. I am at the 52% mark. I do want to hurry up so I can hopefully get this book finished towards the end of the month, because I want to start Winterlight in early November, and then I need to read Falling in a Sea of Stars kind of in the first 2 weeks of December if I want to make it to a live show where I can chat about the book with my friends. And considering they are now all ahead of me, I need to hurry it on up, considering this series is a reread for me. The third book that I'm currently reading is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I have made absolutely no progress in this book since we spoke to you last week. I am at about the 81% mark and have less than 80 pages left to go, or about 2.5 hours of the audiobook, which is a complete shame that I haven't finished this yet. Unfortunately, I ran into just some competing deadlines. I ended up finishing Burning Daylight by Emily McIntyre last week. I had to finish about half of that book, I think, last week before it was taken away on Friday. And then I was trying to race through finishing up Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead in time for the Vampire Academy read-along live show. Didn't finish that one in time, but I did end up finishing it later on the weekend. Then overall, I haven't really thought to pick this up, so hopefully maybe by next week it'll be all done. I don't know. I've already started another book that I am currently binging to try to finish in time for this upcoming Sunday live show. The 4th book that I'm reading is Tress of the Emerald Sea. I've also not made any further progress in this book. I am stuck at chapter 2. I don't know if that's because I made the decision that I wanted to eyeball read this book, and then I realized some of these chapters are 20 or more pages long and not the nice short 5 pages that they were when I read the first chapter. But I definitely kind of want to continue on in trying to eyeball read this. I'll just have to do a little bit of catching up if I want to read this and finish it out by the end of the year by eyeball reading it. The 5th and final book that I am reading, which I started this morning, I really begrudgingly was dragging my feet starting this book. Then I started it, probably got 10 to 15 minutes into the audiobook, and I'm absolutely hooked. I'm already at the 17% mark in this book, which is great since I have to essentially read 20% of the book each day up until the live show. So I started The Score by Elle Kennedy. This is the 3rd book in the Off-Campus series. It features Allie and Dean. Dean is a character on the Briar U hockey team, and then Allie is kind of the best friend of Hannah, who was the main character in the first book, The Deal. And essentially, Allie has broken up with her boyfriend. This is like the 3rd or 4th time they have broken up, and she is firm that she wants to break up. So she ends up going and staying over at Dean's place for the night because she's worried that her ex-boyfriend's gonna come to her dorm room and trouble her and essentially try to convince her to take him back. And kind of at this point, she's ready for everything to be done. She's realized if they're breaking up this much, they must have essentially irreconcilable differences. And well, one thing leads to another. She gets drunk and she ends up having a one-night stand with Dean, and apparently they had a phenomenal time. She is not a one-night stand person, so she has a little bit of regrets about sleeping with Dean, and Dean had such a good time that this playboy can't seem to get her out of his head. So definitely excited to kind of continue on, and really enjoying the banter, and I'm really pleasantly surprised, having a really good time. And if this book is lower than a 4.25 stars, I will be quite shocked because I'm having a wonderful time. Well, that was my quick Wednesday reading update. I will definitely be continuing on the series at least to the end of October, and then from there we'll see if I continue into November, or we'll see if there's something else that might become a little bit more interesting for me to be a more weekly reading series. I will say I have been attempting to try to vlog, but I have been failing miserably in that unless it's my day off on Wednesday, or unless it's a weekend day of Saturday or Sunday, I come home from work and I have no desire to sit in front of the camera, and I am just have been way too exhausted to read. So I'm finding that I'm only getting probably about an hour worth of reading in each day. Mainly that's kind of on my audiobook listening to work and audiobook listening back home from work. And then otherwise I get home and I'll still be up for hours. I'll be watching YouTube videos, but my brain is just not able to focus enough to retain anything that's happening in books. So whether I switch that to going to my reread time, if that's how I'm going to have to get my way through Firebrand, or if I just continue to embrace this and just know that I'm in a time of my life where I'm going to be really sleepy and I am not going to want to be reading. So I want to keep at least trying to vlog, since that's kind of content I do tend to really enjoy. I love listening to and watching people's reading vlogs, but usually I don't have a lot of kind of B-roll that I think is interesting enough to film. Like, my cats are cute, so you can see here's some cute cat videos, and then here's my update on reading the book. But sometimes I don't make any progress in books over like a long span of time, so we shall see. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, whether it's morning, noon, or night. And let's go see if we can find a cat. Here is a token, Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, say hi to your friends. Hi. No, okay. And we hope your current read is a 5-star.